Hello, hello. My name is Giovanna, and I'm a part of the pedagogical team of English Friends, and I'm here to welcome you today to our first training. I want to welcome you and say that you are very special to us. We're so happy that you have decided to join English Friends and to help us make a difference to the people that will come and learn with us. This project is something that we have been working on for a long time, and it's something that is really in our hearts to do. And so we're glad to have you as part of our team. So this is training number 1. And we're going to start, before I show you the material you will use in your class, we're going to start with a motivational phrase. And this phrase says, the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, and the great teacher inspires. William A. Ward. So I'm here to let you know that we believe that you are a great teacher. We can all be great teachers, and our main goal is to inspire our students, inspire them to use everything we give them, everything that we teach and that they practice in their own world to transform their world, to make a difference. And so that's what we believe here. And this inspirational quote is something good that you can use in your classroom. So maybe on the very first day when students are a little bit shy and they don't quite know what's going to happen, it's a good idea to get an inspirational quote, read it with them, and have them discuss what they feel about it. It's a nice way to break the ice on the first day. Here I want to talk to you about the kind of English that we believe in English Friends. We believe in global English. And here it says more than 1 billion people are believed to speak some form of English. And for every native speaker, there are 3 non-native speakers. And so this just means, and this shows us that the way that most of us have always thought of English as being from the United States, from England, from Canada, it's not how it is anymore. Today we have global English. So we have people all over the world who speak English with different accents in a little bit different way, but we can all communicate together. And so that's what we believe in this project. We believe that we should teach and we should inspire and we should show students that global English is important. You know, we can communicate, and there are more non-native English speakers in the world than there are native. And so that's something very important. And just to break away from the traditional British or American English aspect. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the approach that we believe in for this project, the communicative approach. The communicative approach means that we believe that as students receive input, as they are learning, they should also be giving output. So there should be input and output at the same time. They should be together. So students should be able to absorb information, you know, learn new things, and at that same time be practicing. So the classes that we have organized are very dynamic. There is teacher talking time and student talking time. Now the teacher talking time must never be more than the student talking time. The student should always have more time to practice, to talk, to write, to listen, to read. And in each class, you will see that there is some time, of course, where they're going to learn things, where the teacher will have to teach, but always, always, always remember that our main goal is to get that output, is to get students speaking, is to get them to be confident in what they're saying. And we also believe in practicing all 4 abilities: reading, writing, listening, and speaking in every class. So you will see in the material that we have different parts, but in each class there is a reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And of course, if you have more time left over, it's just more time to practice, practice, practice. We want our students to feel comfortable speaking and making mistakes because that's how we learn. Another thing I want to talk to you about is planning and preparing. You, as our volunteer instructor, have a part that is to plan the class to the best of your ability. So, of course, you will receive the material in PDF. You feel free to print it for yourself so you can see the classes you will have to teach. And your job is to plan. Now, there are links and tips on our website for planning and extra things if you want to know, but feel free, this is your moment where you can plan to the best of your ability with the material that we have given you on the class, okay? The student's job, the student's part in this is to prepare for the class. So before each class, the student should be instructed to prepare for it beforehand. So before each class, or at the end of a class, you should show the students what you're going to do next class. You're going to see in our book, it's very easy, just the next page will already have the next lesson. This is a chance for students to get acquainted with something before the next class. So they should study the vocabulary. They can go to the vocabulary bank, listen to the audios, so that when you start teaching something they already know, they're already familiar with it. It's not something that they've never seen. So we have, of course, that instructor part, which is to plan, but also we really believe in encouraging our students to prepare before the class, to read, to write down any questions they may have, to study the pronunciation, listen to it, practice speaking, even before the instructor teaches it. So that's what we believe. And for any more information that you may need, you can visit our website. And like I said, we have some links, we have videos and tips there for you. Now I'm going to talk to you about our material. Today I will specifically talk about the Module 1, but I want to show you, this is the cover for Module 1. This is the cover for Module 2. Our material is called English Outside the Box. This is Module 3. So our course has a duration of 1 year, and it is split into these 3 modules. So you will use these 3 modules during the year. Let's start with Module 1. In the part, here is our logo. This is the sample of the module. Now, you will receive the original, okay, that's not the sample, it's the complete version. You will receive it in PDF, and you will have to print them for your students. The institution that you're working with, you guys will be responsible to print these for your students. Now, that's why we're going to hope for and try to get some partners to partner with us so that we can have money to pay for the printing, because that's practically all you need to really invest in this beginning. It's just the printing of this material. So we're organizing some partners that can partner with us and have that ready. This is the logo. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything. Albert Einstein. So again, these inspirational quotes are really nice for you to read and for you to discuss with your students. Here we just have some information about us, the pedagogical team, because we have made this material for you. Here we have the summary of each part of this book. And here we have a page about who we are. This is important for you as our volunteer instructor to know, and also for the students to know what is the mission, what is the vision, what are the values of this project? Why did we decide to do this project? here is a very important part to get to know the material. So you, our instructor, before the class, before the first class, you already need to know this. And then the students will read about it and will also learn this. But as I said, we're going to be using 3 modules, and each module has 6 chapters. So there are 6 chapters. And each chapter has A, B, C, and D parts. Each one of those letters represents a class. Now, A, B, and C classes, they are the normal classes where you have input, you have output, you have a great flow of teacher talking time, but mostly student talking time. And then part D is where we get the hands-on. So whatever we have discussed in parts A, B, and C, in part D, we're going to do a project. So the student will use what they have learned in the previous parts, and they will do some type of real world projects. We also believe in doing things that we can use in the real world. So I'm going to talk to you about each of those parts. First, let's look at these icons because these are the icons you will see constantly in the material. So we have reading parts, grammar parts, vocabulary, writing, listening, speaking and pronunciation, curiosity, good to know, and hands-on. The hands-on part is the parts D, as I said before, the project parts. The first thing you will do in Module 1, and this is only in the first module, is the welcome class. Welcome to English Friends. This is the class where you're going to show the students what we're all about. And this is for them to feel comfortable. They're going to speak a little bit more Portuguese in this class, just for them to feel comfortable in the English environment. And so you're going to discuss global English. You're going to talk about what is the important part of studying English. Why are we studying global English? And these are just some exercises you can do with them. And, you know, it would be very nice, and we strongly encourage you to plan before each class an icebreaker, because it's something, you know, if you have classes in the afternoon or at night, maybe your student is coming from work, and it's just nice to have a time to get into that English environment, not starting with grammar right away, but, you know, starting with something that they can communicate, they can practice, they can relax, so they will be able to learn and absorb more. So these are just the different parts of the class. Lots of discussion, lots of asking why they want to learn English, what are they going to use it for, what are their hopes and dreams for learning English. Here it talks about how many people in the world speak English today. And here we wanted to show them that they have used global English before, even without knowing they have used a global language. And then we have a game. And it's always nice for you to prepare something extra. So each class has a duration of 1 hour and a half, 2 times a week. So the class with an hour and a half, it needs to be very, very carefully planned. So what you can do is beside each space here, each part of the class, you can write down a time limit. So you can calculate if it's going to be possible to do that in the hour and a half. Of course, as instructors, we have to be flexible, but just a tip for you. Also, it's also nice to always have games planned, speaking activities planned. If you have a little bit of extra time after class, you can do it with them. So that is the welcome class. Now, at the end of the welcome class, you will instruct the students to prepare for the first class of the book. And so here in 1A is the very first class of the book, and you're going to see grammar and vocabulary. So you're going to ask your students to take a look at this part. You're going to ask them to read to look at the vocabulary, try to pronounce vocabulary. And here we have see numbers and occupations in the vocabulary bank. Well, at the very end of our book, we have a vocabulary bank. And this vocabulary bank has audios, so the students can practice their pronunciation. So in each class, they're going to see which parts of the vocabulary they're going to use for that class. They'll come here, they can listen to the audios, take notes of questions they have, and they can ask you later. So for the very first class, they're going to talk about, in grammar, I am very well, you are fine, he is, she is, and it has the translation to Portuguese here. And it's also very, very important for you to always be asking them to repeat, to talk to you, to say it. You know, some of them are very shy, some of them are scared of making mistakes. And it's always very crucial that your classroom environment be a safe environment where they can feel free to make mistakes. They can try, they're going to make mistakes, but they're going to learn. So we're going to start with reading. These dialogues were made to be practiced in pairs. So you can start by reading the dialogue to them, then maybe reading it together. And then you see the A-B pattern is made to be practiced in pairs. So initially, some students might be too shy to practice in front of the whole group. But if you make them practice in pairs, it'll be better for them. Then we have the vocabulary, of course, with the vocabulary bank that is way more extensive at the end of the book. We have writing, always putting writing things that are relevant to what they're going to face. Here we have listening. So with listening, after they listen and complete, it would be also nice for them to practice the dialogue in pairs. Just more speaking, more practice where you can make sure you check their pronunciation, check the intonation. Here we have a speaking activity. They can, if you feel like the class is more open, they can practice in front of everyone. If you feel they're more shy, you can stick to pairs. But always try to change up the pairs so they're not stuck with the same person always, but they have a chance to practice with different people. And we have another writing paragraph. So at the end of this class, of class 1, make sure that you ask them to read and to study for the next class, because they're going to encounter different vocabulary in the next class. So make sure you ask them to read and study. So the next class, they're going to see, what is this? What is that? This is my backpack. These are, those are. And of course, this is all in the vocabulary bank. So by the time you start your second class, they will have some knowledge of what they're going to see. It's not going to be a complete surprise. So we start with listening. And in all of these classes, the order of the listening, pronunciation, writing, they all change to make the class as dynamic as possible. So here we have listen to the audio, pronunciation, and of course, the alphabet is not only for kids, right? So with adults, it's nice for you to get some fun games to play with them. So it's not so childish, but it's very important to always practice the correct pronunciation, because the correct pronunciation of the alphabet is crucial. It's one of the foundations of them being able to learn more and make their pronunciation even better. So every class, you can plan something to practice the pronunciation of the alphabet, especially the little letters that are a little bit more difficult for Portuguese speakers. Here we have the grammar. This is where the teacher will talk, the teacher will teach this subject, but of course, make sure that you're always involving them, always asking them to participate with you, to repeat. If they have a question, it's great for you to take some time in your class to answer questions. If you want to start maybe 5 minutes early or stay 5 minutes later, so the students can have the chance to talk to you one-on-one. It's a great option for the shy students. Maybe they don't want to ask the question in front of everyone, but after class, you can ask them as soon as they have the question, write it down, and they can talk to you after the class. We have the vocabulary here, reading, writing, and of course, with reading, you can do it in pairs, you can do it in groups, you can ask one person, you can ask them to role play, just whatever you feel would make your class comfortable with what they're comfortable doing. We have speaking. Here we have the curiosity, which is something, things that Portuguese speakers tend to get mixed up because they tend to translate or, and so here's just a curiosity for them that is relevant to the content. Of course, at the end of class 2, which is 1B, you will ask them to study, to read over class 3. And in class 3, we start with the vocabulary, then we have the grammar, we have reading, we have a chart with a daily routine, which is always fun, is always something nice. You can ask them to share because it's something that is interesting, and maybe even make a vlog and share a video during the day. They could record. I have breakfast at 7 a.m. and record their breakfast or take a picture. Just make the classes as relevant as possible to their lives, so make it important, even more important for them to learn this when it's so relevant to their lives. We have the listening, and here we have a video to show. We have speaking. Again, you need to see what your group is more comfortable with, speaking in pairs or in groups. You, as the instructor of that class, will be able to see. Here we have writing. And here we have good to know, which is just some extra information that is good for them to know. How are you feeling today? I am happy, tired, sick, excited, sleepy, angry. And of course, we have feelings and emotions in the vocabulary bank. So every class, you should encourage the students to be reading that vocabulary bank, studying the pronunciation, listening to the pronunciation. And if they have any questions, they should talk to you. And now we're at 1D, which is the hands-on class. This is the project. It's time to practice. So at the end of class 1C, ask the students to review the first 3 classes. Go back. If they have any questions, they can write it down. Review everything because they're going to need to use it this time. So based on chapter 1, you will make a project. Choose one of the topics below and follow the teacher's instructions. So the students can record a podcast interview, they can make a poster, biography, or a scrapbook about their routine. When you finish the project, present it to the classroom. How about sharing your project on social media? #EnglishFriends. So we thought that to make the project even more interesting, it would be so fun and motivating to the students to have them be able to share it with their friends and family so that they can make something that is so relevant, so special to them, they can share with friends and family. So if they have Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, they can use this hashtag and all of their projects will be saved. That way they can see how much they have grown. By the end of the year, they can look back at their very first project and see how much they have grown. So this is something that's very special and we strongly recommend. Now, they can do this individually, in pairs, or in group. It always depends on your class. It depends on If they're very shy or if they're very communicative, you can ask them to do it individually or in pairs or in bigger groups. It depends on what you feel will make them more comfortable. And then as time goes on, they will feel more comfortable to talk and to share more with the group. And this is just a part of notes, a note section where whichever idea they have decided to do on the project, they can write it down, ask you questions, get your help, especially for this very first project. And so that is the end of chapter 1. Here we have the vocabulary bank with all of the vocabulary words and the audios. And here we just have the references and the space for our partners. As I said before, we are organizing partners to partner with us so that we will be able to print the material out and do anything else we need for this project, because it's a project where people don't need to pay a monthly fee. If we can't, for some reason, get a partner, each student will have to pay just the amount of printing their material. But we really will try to get partners so that we can cover that expense so no one will have to spend money. This is where the logos will go. And to finish, I would like to show you the certificate that each student will receive. This is just a sample of a certificate that the student will receive after they complete their first year, after they complete the year. And this is just a certificate for them to see all of their hard work. And it says here that the student has completed all requirements of the curriculum of English Friends General English course. So as I said before, our General English course is 1 year. And if the students have reached the minimum requirements of presence and of doing the activities, they will receive this certificate. So I would like to say thank you. Thank you for everyone that has participated. If you have any other questions, feel free to email us or contact us. We have our contact info on the website. We also have more videos on the website. This is just training 1. We will also have training 2 and training 3 shortly available for you. And we hope you have an amazing time. We hope that you are inspired to teach, to do great things, and that you inspire your students. Bye-bye.